Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, I want you to just close your eyes for a second. Unless you're driving, please don't do that. And listen.
To the clock.
To the clock. Tick, tock, tock. Usually that sound is just, it's background noise. But today, we are going to make it loud. We're talking about the ultimate countdown.
It's a sound that I think induces a fair bit of low-level panic in most people.
Mm-hmm.
We're all aware that the clock is running, but we try really, really hard to ignore it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, culturally, we handle time in a very specific way. We buy a cake, we light some candles, and we celebrate adding a number. Happy 30th, happy 50th.
We celebrate accumulation.
Exactly. But the source material we have today, it kind of ruins the party. It suggests we've been doing the math all wrong.
It really does. It flips the script from counting the years you've accumulated to counting the days you have left. And that is a huge paradigm shift.
So to guide us through this, let's call it an existential crisis. I mean, this deep dive, we're looking at a talk called Counting the Days, Investing Life in Eternal Purposes.
And it was given by a speaker named Pastor Hu Zhejiang.
Right. And the context is key here. This talk was given on January 23, 2026.
Yeah.
And I want to address the elephant in the room right away. This is a religious text. It's a sermon based on the book of James.
Right.
And, you know, normally when we talk strategy or time management, we're looking at Silicon Valley gurus or productivity hackers. But today, it's a pastor. Why?
Because the framework he builds here is just. It's surprisingly brutal in its practicality.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you strip away the theology for a moment, he is tackling a universal problem.
The difference between spending your life and investing it.
Exactly. He uses business case studies, survival scenarios, and some very, countercultural arguments about work to make his point.
I was not expecting a breakdown of Nokia's business strategy in a sermon about eternity, I'll say that, but we'll get there.
We will.
Let's start where he starts, the philosophical foundation. He opens with a metaphor that is, well, it's not exactly a Hallmark card.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
He references James chapter 4, and he describes life as a vapor or a mist.
A vapor, like steam from a kettle.
Kind of. But think about it on a cosmic scale. If you look at the timeline of the universe, billions of years, and you drop a single human life onto that timeline.
It doesn't even register.
It doesn't even register as a pixel. It appears for a split second, and then it vanishes.
Okay, that is arguably the most depressing way to start a deep dive. Welcome to the show, you are insignificant steam.
It sounds bleak, I know. But Pastor Hugh isn't saying this to depress people. He's saying it to break our obsession with longevity.
With counting years.
Right. Humans love to count years. We want to live to be 80, 90, 100. We treat life like a high score at a video game. The longer you play, the better you did.
Yeah.
But he quotes Psalm 90.92 to argue that wisdom isn't about the length of the play.
It's about the density of it.
Exactly.
So counting years is just looking at the odometer to see how far you've gone, but counting days.
Counting days is checking the fuel gauge.
Yeah.
And that changes your behavior. If you know you have an infinite amount of road, you just cruise.
But if you know you have half a tank and no gas stations for 100 miles...
You drive with purpose.
He also throws around the word arrogance about how we plan our time. That felt a little aggressive to me. I mean, I have a calendar. I have plans for next year. Is he saying being organized is arrogant?
Not that organization's arrogant, no, but that presumption is.
Yeah.
He argues that when we say, next year I will do X, Y, and Z, as if it's a guarantee.
We're ignoring the vapor reality.
We are. We lack two critical things. The wisdom to actually foresee the future and the power to control it.
So acting like we guarantee tomorrow is basically, it's like we're role-playing as God.
That is his argument.
Yeah.
We are trying to control variables that are completely out of our hands.
Okay, but here's my pushback. If life is just a mist and I can't control the future, the logical reaction is paralysis.
It is.
It feels like I'm trying to walk through a jungle without a map. If I can't plan, what am I supposed to do? Just sit there.
That is exactly the image he evokes. Navigating a dark jungle without a map, or sailing a storm without a compass. And this brings us to, I think, the first major actionable insight.
The story about Mammoth Cave.
The story about Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, yes.
Longest cave system in the world, right?
It's massive. And deep underground, there is this specific spot they call Pulpit Rock. And Pastor Hugh recounts being there with a tour group. They're miles inside the earth.
And then the guides do that classic cave tour trick.
They turn off the lights.
Complete, total darkness.
The kind where you cannot see your hand 1 inch from your face.
Yeah.
It is disorienting and, frankly, it's terrifying.
That is heavy darkness, the kind that has weight.
And in that moment, your map is useless. Your plans are useless. You can't navigate by sight.
Right.
And Pastor Hugh says the tour guide gave the best sermon he had ever heard, and it was only 5 words long.
Please stay close to the guide.
Please stay close to the guide.
It's so simple, but in that context, it's life or death.
And that is the shift. When the world is complex, when it's a vapor you can't control, you don't need to memorize the whole route.
You don't need a 10-year plan that accounts for every variable.
No. You just need to know where the source of truth is right now and stay right next to it.
You know, I actually find that incredibly relieving. It takes the pressure off. I don't need to be a fortune teller. I just need to be a follower of the right signal.
It replaces prediction with proximity. If you stay close to the guide, which for him obviously is Scripture and God, you make it out of the maze.
But if you wander off because you think you found a shortcut,
You are lost in the dark.
So that covers the survival aspect. Don't get lost. But just surviving isn't the whole picture, right? You can survive the cave and still waste your life.
Correct. And this is where the source material does a really interesting pivot. He moves from a survival guide to a business seminar.
With Kodak and Nokia.
With Kodak and Nokia, 2 corporate giants.
This was the part that surprised me. We went from Bible verses in a cave to what felt like the Harvard Business Review in like 2 paragraphs.
But the connection he makes is brilliant. He uses these companies to explain the concept of obsolescence.
Let's talk about Nokia. I mean, if you were around 20 years ago, Nokia was untouchable. They had the market share, they had the durability.
The memes about the indestructible Nokia 3310 still exist for a reason.
Exactly. And yet, Pastor Hugh points out, they vanished from the commercial stage. They're gone. Why?
It wasn't because they stopped making good phones. It was because they made judgment errors about the future. They didn't have a long-term vision that included the smartphone revolution.
So they were winning the game that everyone was playing.
But they ignored the game that was coming. That is the key. They were efficient at the wrong thing. And then Pastor Hugh asks, what if your life is Nokia?
Oof. Okay, that stings.
But think about it. You can be the most successful person you know. You can have the promotions, the house, the savings account. You can be winning the earth game perfectly. But his argument is that if your vision stops at the grave, if you don't have an eternal perspective, you are investing in film stock, in a digital world.
You're building a Nokia life in an iPhone eternity.
That is a terrifyingly accurate way to put it. He argues that if these giant billion-dollar corporations can vanish because of short-sightedness, the human life is even more vulnerable.
So if you aren't investing in things that last beyond your own timeline, what he calls eternal purposes, you are setting yourself up for total asset depreciation.
Yeah, and avoiding that obsolescence requires a specific kind of effort. It requires work.
And this brings us to the part of the talk that I think is going to ruffle some feathers.
The work ethic section.
Yeah. Context again. It's January 23rd in Taiwan. It's this double New Year dead zone. You've had the Western New Year. You're waiting for the Lunar New Year.
Nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
Everyone is focused on bonuses and holidays. It's peak senioritis for the whole country.
And honestly, that vibe is global right now. We see it everywhere. Quiet quitting, the anti-work movement, the 4-day work week. The general consensus in modern culture is kinda, work is a necessary evil. Do as little as possible to survive and live for the weekend.
But Pastor Hugh, he's not buying that. Not at all.
No, he takes a very strong stance against that mindset. He brings up the 10 Commandments, specifically the 4th commandment about the Sabbath.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
And we usually hear that and think, great, God wants me to nap.
We focus on the rest. But Pastor Hugh highlights the other half of the verse. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. He frames work not as punishment, but as a mandate, a blessing even.
Wait, hold on, a blessing. Tell that to the guy doing data entry for 60 hours a week. Is he seriously suggesting that more work is the answer to our anxiety?
He is distinguishing between drudgery and stewardship. He argues that the ability to work, to use your talents, to earn an income, to serve society is actually a form of happiness.
And he warns specifically against the idol of retirement.
He does.
Yeah.
And that goes against the entire financial independence movement. The whole goal is to retire at 40 and sit on a beach.
And Pastor Hugh would ask, and then what? He warns that endless free time so often leads to aimlessness. If your only goal is to stop working, once you achieve it, you might find yourself spiritually empty.
So he's arguing that we need to be productive investing our time right up until the very end.
Retirement from a job shouldn't mean retirement from purpose.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You don't stop being an investor just because you stop punching a clock. And this gets very personal for him. In the talk, He mentions his own countdown.
Right, he's facing mandatory retirement at age 70.
Which at the time of the talk is about 5 years away. And he's been at the same church, Beipu Church in Hualien, for 40 years.
40 years, that's a lifetime.
It is. Hualien is remote, it's not a metropolis. He has poured his life into this one community. And now he is looking at that 5-year deadline and asking, how do I remain useful?
How do I keep working when I am no longer the pastor?
Yes, and this leads to the weirdest and honestly my favorite metaphor of the entire deep dive.
The gospel refrigerator.
It is such a sticky image.
When I first saw that, I thought he was talking about a charity food drive or something. But he's talking about YouTube, right? His podcast.
He is. He's talking about his digital legacy.
Yeah.
But the way he frames it is just so unique. He calls it a refrigerator.
So break that down. Why a fridge?
Okay, think about the function of a refrigerator. It preserves food so it can be consumed later when the cook isn't there.
Right.
A pastor usually feeds his congregation fresh meals every Sunday, the sermon. But once he retires or passes away, the kitchen's closed. He can't cook anymore.
But if he records them...
He is stocking the fridge. He says his goal is to create thousands of episodes. He wants to pack that refrigerator full so that even when he's no longer physically present at Beipu Church, people can still open the door and get fed.
That is actually a really profound way to look at content creation. Usually, we think of influencers making content for views right now. They want the viral hit today.
He's making content for storage. It is a legacy mindset versus a viral mindset.
He sees digital platforms not as a stage for his ego, but as a preservation method for truth.
Exactly. He wants Beipu Church's influence to expand online, regardless of his physical status. It connects right back to that Nokia idea. He is adapting the technology to ensure his business doesn't become obsolete when he retires.
He's decoupling his impact from his heartbeat. His life is a vapor. It vanishes. But the digital footprint is concrete. It stays.
He is hacking the Vapor concept. He is using the temporary to build something that outlasts him.
So we've gone from the cave to the boardroom to the refrigerator. We have the theory, but how do we actually do this?
Right. He doesn't just leave us with metaphors. He gives us a diagnostic test.
He closes with 3 specific questions, and I think these are worth every listener pausing to consider, whether you're religious or not.
They're strategic questions for anyone who wants to not waste their life.
Let's run through them. What's the first one?
Question 1 is the 1-week test. If you knew you had only 1 week left to live, can you list exactly what you would do?
The classic live like you were dying question. But he wants a list.
He wants specifics. And here's why it matters. It cuts through the noise immediately. If you really had 7 days, would you be worried about your email inbox?
Definitely not.
Would you be fighting with strangers on the internet? Would you be stressing about a promotion?
No. I'd probably be with family or fixing relationships I broke or honestly eating good food.
Right. So the follow-up there is, if those things aren't on your 1-week list, why are they consuming 80% of your time right now?
It exposes the gap between what we value and how we actually live. It's a reality check on our priorities. Okay, what's question 2?
Question 2. What is the specific difference between wasting time and investing time in something?
That sounds simple, but defining it is tricky. I feel like we justify a lot of wasting time by calling it research or relaxing.
Exactly. We lie to ourselves. Pastor C wants you to have a hard metric. For him, investing means putting time into something that has an eternal or lasting result. Character, people, truth. Wasting is spending it on things that just evaporate.
Pleasure that doesn't last, status that fades.
Right. He challenges you to define that line so you can catch yourself in the act of wasting. It's like financial literacy, but for minutes.
You need to know an asset from a liability.
You can't tell the difference, you're going to go bankrupt. And the third question.
Question 3. Do you have a habitual way of evaluating your results or your fruit for God? If not, how do you start?
And fruit here means the positive outcomes or impact of your life.
Right. Your impact on others, personal growth, legacy. He is asking, do you have a scorecard?
Most companies have quarterly reviews. Athletes check their stats. But do we track our life's impact?
That's a huge blind spot for most people. We just drift. We hope we're doing good, but we don't actually check.
And if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. If life is a company, you need to check the balance sheet before it's too late.
So bringing this all home, we started with the idea of counting days, not years. We talked about the anxiety of the countdown.
And I think the big takeaway here is agency. Pastor Hugh is arguing that while we cannot control the length of our life, remember, it's a vapor, a pixel, We have absolute responsibility over the depth and direction of it.
We can choose to wander in the dark.
Or we can stay close to a guide. We can drift into obsolescence like Nokia, or we can pivot and invest in the future.
It's about shifting from being a tourist in your own life to being an investor.
Beautifully said. A tourist just watches the scenery go by and hopes for good weather. An investor allocates resources to shape the outcome.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a visual. Picture yourself back in that mammoth cave. The lights go out, it's pitch black, you don't know the way out, and you can't see your own hand.
In that moment, the most sophisticated map in the world is useless if you can't read it. The most expensive equipment doesn't matter.
You just need to hear the voice of the guide.
Please stay close to the guide.
Whether that guide is your faith, your core principles, or a vision that goes beyond just paying the bills, proximity saves you.
It certainly does.
So here's a final provocative thought for you to chew on. Maybe write it on a sticky note. If your life were a publicly traded company, and your current daily habits were its business strategy, would you be a thriving innovator in 20 years?
Or are you investing in film stock?
That is a scary question to answer, honestly.
It is.
But better to ask it now while the market is still open. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.